What it do, good people? Good to see you again. You already know who it is. It's your boy Rose. Blessings and peace be upon you. Now, have you ever wondered why sometimes when you pray to God, He don't answer? You know, you're praying hard and you're reading the word and you don't get a response. No matter how hard, intense, how consistent. You ever wonder why? You ever wonder why that happens? I know what we feel when it happens, but do we ever wonder why that happens? That happen because lack of control and a lack of patience with God, man. You know that, right? That is a lack of patience for God and His works and His ways. The way God moved His hands and His plans, with you included, is not your capabilities. He made that very clear. Your works will not be the reason for His grace and mercy. The works that the man does by thy hands will not be accounted for why God gives grace and mercy. God does it because He loves us. You see what I'm saying? So when you start to really reflect, if you really love God, then you won't get to a point where you're contempt with Him and you're upset with Him. Now, we all have moments and human emotions, but in the grand scheme of things, what I'm saying is, in particular, when you're dealing with God, it's the same way you're dealing with yourself. That's the caveat to the whole thing. How you deal with God is truly how you deal with yourself. And when we take that into account, the whole scope of everything changes. The whole scope of everything changes. Because you realize you can't treat God no better than you can treat yourself. You may want to think you can and think you are, but you're truly not. And God shows us how to love. He shows us how to love in multiple ways at that. So we're not stuck in trying to love and mimic people in the way they love. We can always function in free flow in love that we have. And God gives us that blueprint. And that's why we have to just stay consistent. Because when God gives us the blueprint, all He's waiting for is execution on our behalf. He gives us the blueprint, He gives us the resources. All we have to do is execute. Being in a position to execute is a whole nother thing. There's a lot of things I learned along the way. But God don't respond sometimes because we don't control God. We are not God's God. God is our God. You know, all we can do is humbly ask and hope that He blesses us, hears us, or even remotely is interested, depending on, you know, how we live. So we got to take that into account. That's why God don't respond sometimes, because He don't have to. And sometimes we don't deserve Him to. Sometimes He doesn't need to. It's all the functionality of life. Whatever God sees fits, then it fits the way God sees it. And I, for a long time, jumped in full of bullets I wasn't meant for by trying to be smart. But now I've learned to be wise, which is integrating intelligence with emotion. Situationally, if I stay precise and stay consistent and calculative, everything's going to change. Change comes because of change that came, you know? It's not a means to an end, you know? Once you get the hamster wheel rolling, then you want to keep the hamster wheel rolling forever. You don't want to stop, man. So pay attention. Once you get the momentum and the motion rolling, keep it going. Just don't sell your soul. That's the whole name of the game. Let God keep your soul. You go ahead and pursue what you're interested in, and you find the best way to pursue that. And it's all intentional. All you have to do is be intentional. And all you have to do is be invested in a way that is getting you gains. You're going to take losses trying to gain. That's just the nature of gains. You're going to take losses. But don't harbor those losses in a way where you're looking at it like it's over for you. It's not over. It's literally just beginning. Every time you take a loss, it's just beginning, because now you can do it better. That's where you fail at, when you don't do it better. That's what I've learned. I failed at not doing it better. I would learn better and do it better in certain areas, but in other areas, I wouldn't do better. I'll just see what better can be done and not do it. Self-rebellion, right? My self-rebellion was at like an all-time high, and I wasn't listening to myself, but I was praying, and God wasn't tapping in with me. It just doesn't work like that. And I'm glad I got to journey through life and find that out, that it just doesn't work like that. God said he is, and you are. So if he is and you are, and he is in you, what do you think you got to behave like? What do you think you got to act like? What do you think you got to portray? What do you think you have to, a part of your mission is, no matter what your talent is? What do you think a part of your mission is? Spread the gospel. He didn't say don't have talents. He said multiply them and be fruitful and have dominion. But he also said submit and be steadfast, you know. So it's literally about playing everything day to day, because that's all you have. Once you learn to quiet the anxiety, once you learn to quiet the storm inside of you, then you will see that the peace of God is like your favorite food. The peace of God is like your favorite food. No matter how much you indulge, you can always have more. But once you learn how to not be greedy with God's peace, once you learn how to be conservative, once you learn how to be peaceful with God's peace. Because I was chaotic when I first got God's peace, because I didn't understand it. And I kept looking around like, God, what are you doing? It's quiet around here, it's boring around here. Like, I don't get it. But sure enough, you know, the power of God changes everything. No matter what you think about it. And it's okay, you know, I'm a human, but I did used to think that what I think and how I feel would sway God's sovereignty and sway his power. I used to think him letting me be a fool was him agreeing with my foolish ways. And it's okay, bro. It's an immature spirit that needs growth and healing and, you know, elevation. You know, because it's not a fault. Life is not a fault. Life is a journey, a pathway, a segue into where you came from. The holy firmament, you know what I mean? There's nothing that convinced me that God's not real. As abstract as this life is, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, bro. I'm just glad to see so many people taking the opportunity to wake up and face God with their truth. That's the only way we're going to change. That's the only way we're going to heal. That's the only way we're going to decide better daily. It's by saying, okay, God, whatever you have to say to him. I don't know. We all have to say different stuff to him, but appreciate where you at in life too. That's a cheat code too. Appreciating what you got, how hard you work, how far you came. Appreciate. You have to appreciate, because if you don't appreciate, then things in your life will start to depreciate, out of deterioration. Why? Because there was no determination. There started to become distance. Then you got disqualified from that lifestyle. Why? Because there wasn't no continuity. Why? Because there was a lack of consciousness. Yes. And it's real, man. It's real. I'm glad I got to learn early on, bro. While I'm young, bro. I'm glad I got to learn early on. It's real, bro. It's really real. Like, you literally can't play both sides. You can't, bro. You can't. God told you can't. And I'm like, I can. And that's what he mean by the knowledge of good and evil, bro. It's like certain things will never be for your improvement. And certain things will always be for your enhancement. But you have to have discernment to understand and wisdom to apply. Yeah. So I was judging the verdict out on so many things, thinking I was right. A man is foolish to his own ways and his own understanding. Oh, yes, I was. But I'm not foolish no more because I don't depend on my own understanding. I depend on God. But even in then, I'm still feeble in my capabilities. Holy, glorify, magnify the Lord. For in the name of God is sovereignty, peace, structure, opportunity, value, no detriment, no disease, no dysfunction. It's all love, bro. It's all love. This life is love. True love encompasses all, bro. That's what I've learned. That's why Jesus broke it down to simple principles. Love, obedience. That's literally your ID at the gates of heaven. Did you truly love God? Oh, yes. How did you live it? I lived it true to my life, in which God truly was able to affect me and be in my life. Because I wasn't living a lie. I was living my life. So God was able to come into my real life and do real things.